Hello, my loves. Today we are going to be chit-chatting about a few things. As you can see, I'm in my Velma costume, so I'm going to give you some really fun facts about one of my favorite cartoons since I can remember. I think I've been watching Scooby-Doo since I could talk. Back in the days of people having satellite instead of cable, I lived in a place where there wasn't a lot of cable at all. I don't think anybody had cable. Everybody had like satellite at that point in time. But anyways, I started watching Cartoon Network. That was like my go-to. And I remember being little, Scooby-Doo was like, that was it. I loved dogs. I loved mystery. And when I discovered Scooby-Doo, it was just on and popping from then on. So, but yeah, crazy thing, the Scooby-Doo, I'll go over this in a second. Scooby-Doo's name actually came from a song by Frank Sinatra, Strangers in the Night. Anyways, great song. Another thing I wanted to address, the fact that Fred and Daphne are always going off by themselves and everybody was like, ooh, and eventually it turned into a little love thing later on in the later cartoons. But in the earlier ones, it was actually written that way just to create a interesting storyline. The director or writer sent them off in a less successful direction just to give this show some dynamics.
With the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
It is what it is. Sorry, Daphne. Sorry, Fred. Aww. So this is an old cartoon. Scooby-Doo has been around since ages. And I remember one of my favorite episodes that are from the older Scooby-Doo, which was from 1969 to 1970, and then they came back in 2002 to 2006. But in the 1969 to 1970 episodes, the Harlem Globetrotters was my absolute favorite episode. I think it was really cool to see them incorporate them into the cartoon, as well as, you know, many other characters. Scooby-Doo is known for that. Now, of course, that favorite episode was then replaced by another, and another, and another, and another. And eventually it got into A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, which was my second favorite cartoon. Well, I guess technically it was still my first favorite because it's still Scooby-Doo, but the puppy. Everybody loves puppies. Anyway, so funny story, another fun fact about Scooby-Doo. Shaggy was actually supposed to be a vegetarian, but as we all know, that kind of changed. Now, the ever questionable state of Shaggy and Scooby and the reason why they're always eating. Keep in mind, this cartoon was made in the late 60s, early 70s. And it's the 70s, it's the early 70s. Y'all know what they were doing. Y'all know why they were hungry. It's a talking dog. Need I say more? But anyways, still my favorite cartoon. Velma's line about her glasses, you know, she can't see without them. That was actually added in just for comic relief. So Nicole, I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Nicole Jaff, who did Velma's voice, actually came up with that line. And it was so cute that they decided just to keep using it. And it worked so well. Poor Velma and her glasses. She needs some LASIK. We got to upgrade her. So Scooby-Doo is perpetually 7 years old. He is apparently an immortal being, which makes me love him even more. But he's 7 years old. But anyways, enough about Scooby-Doo. Venturing on into another supernatural realm. Oh, speaking of supernatural, that's what I meant to tell you. My favorite Scooby-Doo episode is a combined favorite episode of Supernatural and Scooby-Doo called Scooby-Natural. Anyways, they combined the two and it was called Scooby-Natural. Made my freaking day. And Velma and Sam Winchester, I see you, girl. Go ahead and get them. So anyways, moving on to our other supernatural realm. I have been working on this canvas for what feels like too long. If you have ever seen Stranger Things and know of Eddie Munson, this is his famous guitar solo. I have not finished yet. All that is left is just for me to add Eddie Munson right here. Freaking hero. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say in regards to Eddie, but that character was written so well. The scene played out so well. It was just, they did a fantastic job. But anyways, I think this is history in the making. I think this scene is one of the most epic scenes I have ever witnessed in any type of show, supernatural, sci-fi, series, movie, show. It was it was really good. It was done really well. And I think that's going to go down in history there. I'm going to have to go back and watch all of the Stranger Things episodes. So, but yeah, I think that scene, what made it what it was not only was it the climax of the season, not only was it the climax of the episode, but there was so much going on in that moment. As you know, if you've ever seen it, and spoilers, I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it, but holy crap, like Dustin and Eddie are just on top of this trailer. Eddie is just ripping this guitar solo, Master of Puppets, by the way, by Metallica, freaking prestige. And all the while this is going on, Elle is trying to figure out a way to help her friends. One is just destroying what seems to be like every single person he can get his greasy little hands on. But overall, I mean, there was so much emotion involved in the scene. Lucas is trying to save people. Erica is out looking out for them. What's his face is just out to freaking, he just lost his mind. Chrissy's boyfriend, what's his name? Jason Carver. There we go. Anyways, fantastic scene. Again, Joseph Quinn will probably always be remembered for this epic scene right here. And every time that I hear Master of Puppets now, I'm immediately like, Eddie Munson. I have put a lot of time into this. This was also my first oil canvas. I have been terrified of oil paints for the longest time just because they take so long to dry and it's so thick. I don't know, but it was just different for me. I've always worked with acrylics, and like 10 days in after letting the oil dry and having to go back and layer and just go back and back and back, I was like, you know what? I'm going back to acrylic, which I did for a little bit. I added some detail in the trailer with the acrylic. And one thing that this canvas broke me on is mixing different mediums. And again, just something that has been programmed in my mind, probably by myself. I didn't like to, I used to not mix acrylic oil or use like markers and acrylic. I just wanted to use the same thing on the canvas and make it look flush, I guess that's the word, or make it look more blended. But this one broke me from that. After the oil took forever to dry, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do acrylic and see how that goes. For the lightning bolts, I was like, you know what? I probably should have used some oil just on a really thin brush, but instead I used a paint pen and just went back with the oil to put some clouds over top. But overall, I think it came out pretty decent. It's still wet, but just to get the glare off of there. So here's a closer look at the scene here. And like I said, I'm going to finish it up. I just have to add, I don't think I'm going to add Dustin on this one, just Eddie. Just put him right in the middle. But yeah, overall, it's coming along. One thing that I really enjoy is watching other artists. I don't know, with just any type of craft, you really have to put your heart into it. And I feel when you get into a competitive nature, you lose part of your creativity. So I try to always stay creative, but that's the one big thing that I really enjoy as far as watching other artists is just seeing how they do techniques, seeing what really makes them light up. And I don't know, this one I just kind of went all in and was like, you know what, I'm going for it. Been working on a food dog. I don't know why I love these things so much. I don't collect them or anything. I've just always thought they looked cool. This one is not finished, so I'm going to warn you, it does look a little crazy. It look real crazy, but anyways, I'm going to finish it. Don't worry. But I am working on a food dog. I decided to make him blue. There were some online, mostly orange and red. There were some like black, a lot of black and white ones. But I kind of used one for a reference that was black and white. And then I saw a red one that had this, I don't know, he was just different. So I went with that. I'm going to finish it up. Another thing that I didn't want to do for a long time and didn't know I could do was alcohol ink markers on a canvas. It doesn't work so well because just the modality of what it is. But I don't know, it worked out for the most part. I did do another one that gave me the confidence to start this one, which I'll show you in just a second. But I would get the canvas. I'll just put a picture of it here. But I did do prints of that picture. I don't want to dig it out because I have a whole bunch of canvases in the closet and I'm just going to leave them there for right now. But anyways, here is an actual picture of the painting that I did. And this, I added a few effects onto it, of course, just to make the color pop on the printer paper. But it turned out pretty good. And this was done with just some alcohol ink markers, and they worked really well. It did smear a lot, but I started to use that to my advantage. And shout out to my friend Francesca, because I think she was the only one I've ever told this story to. But it was so in the first grade, I never forget, I was in S, and we had an art contest, and I was so proud about something I discovered. I was drawing this like it was just a plain scene. It had a house and the background and some clouds. And when I was drawing the clouds, my hand accidentally smudged the blue ink, and it pulled it, and it looked like a raindrop. And I thought that was the, mind you, I'm in first grade, but just to show you how amazing a child's mind is, I was so blown away that I had discovered that I could do that with my hand. And so I just put a bunch of dots on the paper with this blue marker and just took my arm and right down the page, and it just looked like rain. It was so cool. And I did not win. Somebody else won. And instead of me just enjoying that creative process, that creativity that I had just discovered, I got really upset, and I was like, her stuff isn't good. Mine's better. I discovered raindrops, and I felt really bad. But yeah, that was a very, 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 very valuable point in my life that I didn't realize until 20 some years later. But anyways, super thankful that I had that happen. But okay, where was I going with that? I went off on a tangent. Oh, yeah. So I discovered when using alcohol ink markers, and there are links to this if you would like one of these. There's a link below. You should be able to get them on my website. Limited number available as of now. But anywho's, but yeah, I kind of use the same technique with the markers. Is I've noticed when you're trying to layer darker colors to do like shadows or do any type of like contouring or whatever on a face, instead of the ink going over it, it does go over it, but a lot of times it will pull the shade that's underneath it, and any other layers that you put on there, it'll wipe those out. So this one is called Calypso in Color. It came out really well. I'm satisfied with it, to be honest. But I'm going to keep working at it. I think that's the best thing about art. You can always keep going. It always keeps you busy. But anywho's, that is all for this episode, my lovelies. I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I'm sending you all the love, positivity, and good thoughts. So keep it cool.